Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy and this is Bayou Bonsai. So essentially what we'll be doing today is separating out this, honestly either this is a pecan or it's a black walnut. I'm not sure which one it is. It looks like it's about to pop. It survived the drought and the move from Central Texas to East Texas. And I want to basically get this wild, what is that, mulberry, a wild mulberry tree that basically germinated in this pot with my walnut. So what I'm going to do is try to get it out. Now, I planted two of these planters with two trees each. So there's a stump down here, which I tried cutting back to save it, to see if it would sprout a new offshoot from the bottom. It might not. Okay, but I have a 3D printed pot that I made myself, and I want to go ahead and transplant this one into it. I do see some insects moving down around in there. So I also might want to do is hit it with some bifin later on once I'm done. Okay, so I guess there's almost no way other than for me to dig this thing out with the shovel. So it's right with my other tree. They planted it. I think the squirrels did it, honestly. This is a freebie, right? It's not like I'm too concerned about it. Just got to get under the root ball, the tap root, and pull it up out of there. It'll be all right. I make my own bonsai soil mix. Kind of borrowed a little bit from Nigel, but I put a lot more organics in mine. Wow, there's definitely a lot of growth going on in here. I can almost lift the whole thing up out of here. Are you kidding me? Let's see here. Where is my... So I have a 3D printed, what do you call it, like a root pick. They're so cute. I got a matching root rate that I modeled after Nigel. I'm such a fanboy. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, it's like a transparent root rake, just like Nigel's. I freeze framed and kind of modeled it based on the size of my hand. But it's perfect for scraping away roots. And then this is good for picking at the roots. And gently separate all these things going on in here. So it looks like the roots went straight down into the bottom. They're straight down. And as you know, that's not what you want for roots. So I'm going to definitely save as much as I can for the first round and get it underway in its bonsai training. 3. Oh yeah, look at that one. Perfect. Okay, so it looks like we got a lot of it coming up. All right, so yeah, see that other sister root, that taproot, that entire tree is gone. I think it was the walnut, the black walnut. It could have been the pecan, I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like a pecan tree, the miniature form. This one's green, so we're gonna get one of them, that's for sure. As soon as the leaves pop, I'll know for sure whether or not it's one of my pecans or a walnut. I hope it's a walnut, honestly. I have these pecan trees. They grow wild here. I'm gonna keep at it. So you can get really far down in there. Good aeration too, you know. That's why I put this ball on the end of it, so it kind of makes a larger hole in the soil and brings nutrients and air down with it. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. No, that one didn't make it. Okay, this one's high up. So, some fine roots right there. Nice. Nice. Okay, so we got one big offshoot of the tap. Two small ones, and there we have it. Let's take a look at what we got. So the thing is like, these tools have been sitting for a year since I last used them. You could use a good polish. I suppose I could make a separate video on that, but I want to get right into it today. What do we got here in terms of tools? So we know this one's up too high. We don't want it. Okay, and this one's too high. I think because we have these two here, if we do a really aggressive chop to kind of bring it all the way down to scale, this might turn out to be a good leader. Very aggressive, right? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, that's like, would that be like 2 meters, right? No, it'd be like 1.5 meters. So let's take a look here. These roots go straight down, but the thing is like, here's your tap root, which divided into like many, but we can only go halfway on our first go around. So there we go. That's pretty much as I want to do. We already have a bifurcation here. We already reduced it and lowered it here. Okay, this one's crossing. Oh, it's a big, tall one. I think what I'm going to do is just cut it back to a bud here and see what happens. Kind of like now it's a stick in a pot, right? That's more like it. I don't want to put it back in here because this thing's about ready to pop. So I got to get it back into position. I wanted to do fruit trees, like nut-bearing trees as bonsai, but large-scale bonsai, like these big pots. So these would be really big trees eventually. I'm gonna just reposition this guy in here. Let me borrow some soil out of that. Yeah, so it's basically my mix is perlite and calcine clay that I get from like Northern Tool. You guys want to see the root base on this thing? I think we should wait. See, the roots are just starting now to grow. So the tree's alive, guaranteed. All right, so we know it's alive. That's good. Let's leave it be. Let me get some more of that soil over here. All right, I'll be right back. I need another container. I'll be right back. All right, so now we got some soil and we have some material here. All right, so I want to basically excavate some of this soil so I can put it back where it was. I'll coax some of them out, but not all of them. Okay, let's go ahead and position my I'm pretty sure it's the walnut. In there. Ooh, a lot of clover. Ooh, bunny rabbits. Yeah, so I can't believe how nice it is out. We got hit with an early spring and we had a cold spell come in again. So this morning it was 50 degrees, and before that it was 40, maybe like 45. But that should be the end of it. I can't imagine any more cold weather. Doesn't make sense. We have a nice drawn out spring. That's what I was hoping for. This is just extra bonsai soil. There we go. See, it's pretty heavy in organics, right? But it's also got the pea pebbles in there too. Okay, so this guy here, let's go ahead and get him some water. I don't want the roots to dry out. He's like a priority, this guy here. So let's go ahead and get this guy back in there. If exposed roots, it's fine. And then let me go ahead and get my soil master. Like I said, I'm just putting aeration holes in here. And I'm forcing the bonsai soil into the roots. And that's it for this one. That's all I wanted to do. Just put it, give it its own pot with no other trees in there. All right, so this one should be the black walnut, which is fine. So let's put him aside. And let's get on to repotting this guy here. I think he's already outgrown this pot, right? So let me go see if I have a different pot. I mean, I guess I could use this one. They're just Walmart training pots, right? The problem with this is they're too deep, really. Maybe we'll scale him back since we did do that big chop. Let's scale these roots back again. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Go bifurcation, see? 2, damaged root there. It was already damaged. And there. And there. Get some bonsai soil up in here. Yeet. All right, so this guy here, as long as I keep it watered, we should be good. They're very, very hardy. What do we got here? So we got I'm assuming a black walnut, but could be a pecan. We'll check into that as soon as it blooms. We'll know. And then and I said we're rooting for the black walnuts, right? Because I don't have any walnut trees. I've got a couple pecan trees, and I keep mowing them down. Like they keep germinating in the lawn, and one day I could just scoop one out when I'm ready. I'm just slowly starting back up with bonsai. The cabin is in disarray, right? It needs a lot of repair. So my time's mainly spent doing repair, but I realize it's been like 2 weeks or more since I've made a video, my first video ever in bonsai. But I've been wanting to just do this. So there's my mulberry, American mulberry, just standard run-of-the-mill mulberry. And here we have our presumably walnut, black walnut, which will be a bonsai. It'll be a large bonsai. I mean, I just want the fruit where it's no more than like 5 feet in a pot. So we're going to upscale this pot through the years. And like I said, I want it to be able to bifurcate primary, secondary, tertiary branches. And then when it does its fruiting thing, we just pick the walnuts right off of the tree, which is what I want to do. Pecans and walnuts is what I want. So that's what we're doing. They're not going to be in the ground. They're going to be in pots. Let's give these two a final watering and we'll call it an episode. And they can sit right underneath this sweet gum tree where you and I are. We're in the shade of a sweet gum tree, and it's a beautiful tree. Is this not beautiful? To imagine this. Imagine this. In the United States, like real estate has gone so out of control here. To be able to find this abandoned property has been such a blessing, and being able to do bonsai again is just so exciting. Oh, I have to tell you. But if you're interested in like off-grid kind of living, which is what I do here, I live off-grid. I don't have any utilities. I pump my own water. I harvest my own electricity from the sun and the wind sometimes. But if you're into that kind of content, consider my TNC Roamer channel. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Bayou Bonsai, and I can't wait to do the next one.